Bam, to the number one daily Bitcoin pod. Lots to share today. I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis as we close out Moonvember. Also breaking news just in, MicroStrategy buys another 16,130 BTC for $593 million. MicroStrategy now holds 174,530 BTC. Like, whoa. Also in today's show, Grayscale initiates a significant amendment to their GBTC trust agreement. I'll be breaking this down for you. We'll also be sharing the Bitcoin ETF race gets the 13th entrant as BlackRock revises their ETF model. We'll also be sharing breaking news. Suriname ponders national Bitcoin adoption with a 1% reserve strategy. Let's go. We'll also be discussing Samson Mow says $1 million Bitcoin price is expected and could come as soon as days after ETF approvals. We'll also be discussing mass Bitcoin adoption, what countries are likely to be next to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. All this plus so much more in today's show. Welcome everyone just joining us. This is pod episode number 1477. Let's freaking go. Shout out to everyone out there in the live chat. We have an early stream today. Let me know if the stream is smooth, loud, and clear. I appreciate y'all feedback. Shout out to Emil, says good evening from Norway. Good evening, my fam. Appreciate you joining us. Bitcoin Imagineer says be exit Bitcoiners exiting the financial system. You already know, unplugged from the matrix with the King Crypto all day, every day, all in since 2017. What up, Crypto News Alerts fam? What it do, J-Dub the Laker, 21 mil. Massive shout out to my crypto crew. Danny Bitcoin says, if you can tell me what Tusca is, I'll be a happy man. Or Suka. Sorry, I don't know what a Suka is. So unfortunately, you got to enlighten me. What up, Silver? Good morning. All sounds good. Glad to hear that. All clear, says Chris Minka. Good to note, my fam. Shout out to Unmatrix. Appreciate you joining us. Shout out to our moderators, Maximus, Dankness, Streamlabs, and the rest of the crew. Shout out to the Coin Father, JC. What it do? Shout out to Novum. Let's freaking go. Appreciate you joining in. Shout out to Knox Bill and the rest of the Crypto News Alerts fam just joining us here. Let's go. Alice, welcome. What is good? Shout out to Top Roller. Video is good and generally matching the audio decently. Well, that's a good sign, right? Good morning. All sounds good. Good to know. Well, without further ado, let's kick this mofo off, shall we? Welcome everyone just joining us. Be sure to smash the subscribe button if you're new to the channel to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day just like this. You also get a on-screen shout out by yours truly. Also be sure to smash the like button as it helps out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. Let's kick it off. Today is podcast episode number 1477. I'm your host JV and today is November 30th, 2023, the final day of Moonvember. We got Bitcoin currently pulling back and correcting, but let's check out our market watch as we do each and every day. Bitcoin is trading just above $37,600. The other day we hit as high as 38.3, looking to retest 38.5, but then the bears swarmed in and took us back under 38,000. We also have Ether correcting but maintaining above 2,000. We got BNB, XRP, Cardano, and Solana all correcting and in the red. And they say when in doubt, zoom out. So let's check out the 7-day. Bitcoin is in the green, but barely for the week. And zooming out for the 1 month, which is a 30-day perspective, Bitcoin's still up 9% on the month and roughly 130% on the year. Not too shabby. We got Ether up 12% on the month, Solana up a whopping 70%, and Cardano up over 23%. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, the current crypto market cap sits at $1.42 trillion with 45 billion in volume in the past 24 hours. The Bitcoin dominance back on the decline at 51.9% and the Ether dominance at 17.2%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers of the past 24 hours, we got Injective leading the pack up 8% on the day, trading just shy of 18 bucks, followed by Theta Network up 6.5%, trading at $1.03, followed by Polkadot, which is up 5%, trading at $5.53. Below that, we have Render, FTT, and ApeCoin. Now, which altcoins, if any, for this bull run are you most bullish on? Please do let me know. And checking out crypto bubbles so we can get a visual perspective. You can see on the day, there's a mixed bag, some in the green, some in the red, with the top gainers being INJ, WeMix, and Theta. And zooming out on the weekly, we got more in the green, and zooming out on the monthly, virtually all the major cryptos pumping and in the green. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index, it shows we're currently rated a 74 in greed. Yesterday was a 72, last week a 66, and last month a 66 in greed. So there you have it. What do you think the Moonvember monthly closing price is likely to be, as we have roughly, another 8 to 10 hours in the day before the close? Please do let me know. Shout out to OG Bootleg Crypto. What it do? Good to see you, fam. Novum is bullish on Solana, Link, Render, and FET. Word. Eye of the beholder. Let's freaking go, baby. Let's get it. Chris Minka says all the dip buyers should be doing so. I have been buying and I have not had a lower low wick down. Best of luck if you're sitting on zero Bitcoin. And speaking of zero, shout out to $0 G-Row. I appreciate that $2 super chat. I mean, each and every day without fail. You are the most consistent and much appreciated. So thank you, my fam. Shout out Digital Dankness. It's good to see you. Good morning. Hope all is well on your side over there, fam. What up, Brian? Yes, sir. We need a Bitcoin emoji. It's long overdue, to say the least. How long do you think it'll take before we get one? Maybe it's going to need 100,000 price action and then they'll create it. We'll see. At least on X, we can do hashtag Bitcoin and get the rocket, you know what I mean, or the little Bitcoin symbol, which is pretty cool. Shout out to Bitcoin Trini. Good to see you. Novum, also bullish on Pepe. For real, for real? Or are you pulling my leg? Good day, JV and Crypto News Alerts fam. Shout out Track You too. Appreciate you joining us. Good morning, CNA. Early birds get the worm. JV must have buys day ahead. Let's get it. You already know Eric Castro. I appreciate you joining us at this special time. Tomorrow we'll be streaming live again, 11 a.m. Eastern. And then Saturday we'll be back to the normal time, which is 3 p.m. Eastern. I appreciate you guys. Yes, so let's dive in without further ado. Check out our Bitcoin technical analysis, the charts where the Bitcoin price action is likely to go next. And welcome to y'all just joining us. Appreciate the support. Bitcoin brushed off fresh U.S. macro data into the November 30th Wall Street Open as traders focused on the monthly close. Here you're looking at the Bitcoin 1-hour candle chart. Now data from Cointelegraph and TradingView showed Bitcoin sticking to the narrow intraday range just below 38,000 after a failed breakout the day prior. Hopes were high that the Fed's preferred inflation metric, which is the personal consumption expenditures, the PCE index, would be fueling that volatility. However, had not come to pass at this time with November's final Wall Street Open. Still to come, PCE came in broadly in line with expectations, a boost for the Fed's monetary tightening and reinforcement of declining inflation. Meanwhile, querying whether the interest rates might now begin to fall. The key takeaways for risk assets, according to the KBC letter, said stay cautious. Quoting them here, another sign inflation is falling but still above the Fed's 2% target. Can the Fed really pivot now? What are your thoughts? Also, they alluded to the words of Bill Ackman, founder and CEO of hedge fund Pershing Square Capital Management, who earlier in the week predicted rate cuts beginning as soon as Q1 of 2024. Quoting him here, it's important to note that the effects of monetary policy lag. However, does the Fed really want to risk jumping the gun and cutting rates too soon? We believe calls for rate cuts in Q1 2024 are too ambitious, but let me know your thoughts, crypto fam. Meanwhile, PCE did not manage to dent the market expectations of the Fed policy, with data from the CME Group's FedWatch tool showing almost unanimous expectations of a rate hike pause continuing next month, which you can see here. They give that a 96% probability. Now let's discuss November price gains nearing 10%. Not too shabby. For market participants, the monthly close was of more interest, up nearly 10% in November, making it the first green 11th month of the year since 2020. Now above 37.6, the close would become its highest since May of 2022. Now in November of 2021 and 2022, Bitcoin actually fell 7.1% and 16.2% respectively, as per data from CoinGlass, as you can see here in your screen. And analyzing the current chart setup, we have trader Jelly, who saw reasons to be bullish on Bitcoin's RSI. Quoting him here, after spending the past month building up a giant hidden bullish divergence, Bitcoin has breached its RSI downtrend, and the chart showed the required area for the bulls to secure, which you can see here. He also shared, if price can hold the gray box, I think this starts moving higher soon. All eyes are on the monthly close. So there you have it. So let me know where you feel the Bitcoin price will likely take us for this monthly close. And also breaking news, which is going to be our next story. MicroStrategy, talk about buying the dip. They just bought another 16,000 Bitcoin for almost $600 million and now officially hold 174,530 BTC on their balance sheet. Like, whoa. So massive shout out to Mike Saylor. He is the true G right here. Relaxing. Welcome, fam. 1111. Let's go. Appreciate the reminder. Dankness. Definitely a good omen, as 11 is a very special number, especially to me. What up, Rodolfo Perez? Welcome, fam. Chris says, a Pepe Bull. Sorry for your loss. Good. Yeah, I mean, it is to each their own. I don't know about the 1 million thing. If it does, I will get out for show. What do you mean? So are you saying if Bitcoin hit a milli, you would sell your position when you say get out? Let me know what you mean by that. Eye of the beholder. Sheesh. I mean, it's crazy. Sailors buying like there's no tomorrow. Please leave some sats for us plebs. Just saying. Whole Coiner here from Manchester, UK. Love your work. Appreciate you. You, sir, 1980. Thank you for joining us and congratulations on being a whole coiner. Well done. Good to note. Michael Saylor doesn't have all the Bitcoin in the universe, but he's getting closer and closer to having the optimal all-in position. They're just going to continue stacking like crazy. I mean, it's insane. 600 million just sitting around. Buy some Bitcoin, do it up. Let's go. I'll never sell Bitcoin, says Bad Sunshine. Smart man. Novum says, you know what's going to happen. Bitcoin goes to 1 million, you sell. Then it goes to 5 million. Probably something like that. Everyone dumps at a milli, and then we go 2, 3, 4, 5 milli, and people are just like, what did I do? Now I can never get it back. And by that time, Michael Saylor will have like 8 million Bitcoin out of the 21 million supply, for Christ's sake. All I need is 400,000 and I am good, says Relaxing. Well, that's a hell of a target for this cycle, I would say. By the year 2025, a very realistic peak for a bullish scenario. JB, if you had the option for a direct deposit from your employer to come directly as Bitcoin, would you do it as just convert to fiat when needed? Yes, I think that is a good option, and I believe that already exists for apps like Strike, the Jack Mallers app. You can probably do that kind of stuff as well. Also, if you're a business owner, you can use OpenNode and you can actually get paid in Bitcoin as well. You could diversify to where maybe 50% in fiat, so you can cover your bills and expenses within the business, then 50% Bitcoin. So this option already exists. So I think it's awesome. So theoretically, people can already work for business or work for Bitcoin or run their business and earn Bitcoin. So it's not just about buying and investing in Bitcoin, but you could save in Bitcoin and get paid directly into Bitcoin. That's the new frontier. So I'm actually glad you brought that up. If you think it's going to 1 million, anything less is a buy. Facts. That's right, Unmatrix, 100%. If it goes to 1 million and you have 5 BTC, sell 1.5, pay your taxes, and live off of the money, says Silas. Well, I mean, if the dollar is hyperinflated, theoretically speaking, are you going to be able to live off that fiat? It'll be a melting ice cube times 100, right? It may be non-existent if a loaf of bread ends up costing you $500,000. There's no telling what can happen. We've seen hyperinflation in different countries around the world occurring in real time right now in Argentina. I heard their inflation rate is like 140%. When Milei won the presidency, people were ripping up their fiat and throwing it as confetti confetti. Just goes to show you how worthless their fiat is becoming. Relaxing says, I do expect a large initial run-up after the ETF announcement, so I will be ready. We'll get ready. Let's freaking go. You know what I mean? Welcome, Barry BTC, early today. Appreciate you tuning in regardless, Barry. Greetings from Holland. Much love, much respect. Now let's break down our next story of the day and discuss this massive buy from MicroStrategy, making big moves. And again, shout out to Mike Saylor. MicroStrategy, the NASDAQ-listed business intelligence software giant that made waves over 3 years ago, becoming the first publicly traded company to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet, has gone on another buying spree. The firm's former CEO and founder, Mike Saylor, outlined the latest Bitcoin purchase, which was worth nearly $600 million. That's right. Here you go. Saylor asserted the company he founded over the 3 decades ago spent $593 million to buy 16,130 BTC for an average price of $36,785 per Bitcoin. This has become MicroStrategy's second Bitcoin purchase for November. As reported before, the firm recently bought 155 BTC for $5.3 million at the start of the month, and the latest acquisition puts the company's total stash at 174,530 BTC. It just spent under $5.3 billion to purchase that total amount. This means that MicroStrategy is sitting on a massive unrealized profit currently of over $1.2 billion, given Bitcoin's current price of $37,750. And this is the initial announcement from Michael Saylor. This morning, MicroStrategy acquired an additional 16,130 BTC for $593.3 million at an average price of $36,785. As of November 29th, MicroStrategy now hodls 174,530 BTC acquired for $5.28 billion at an average price of $30,252 per Bitcoin. So that's their average buy amount, and clearly they're in the green, profitable with over $1 billion. So clearly their strategy has been working out. Now, as reported over the weekend, the bullish developments with MicroStrategy's stock price movements this year being so connected to Bitcoin, and given the crypto's yearly surge, the company shares have been on a roll since January 10th, doing fantastic. How many of you are invested into MicroStrategy? Please let me know. They also reached a high not seen in over a year at above 520 after a 250% surge this year in 2023. And before the opening bells on Thursday, MicroStrategy's price had retraced slightly, but still stands currently above $500. So there you have it, my crypto fam. Let me read some of your comments out loud. Thoughts, if any, Bitcoin Gold, BTG. Wow, I remember the fork, and when Bitcoin Gold was released, it's supposed to have been the decentralized version of Bitcoin, like the decentralized miner version, but apparently it's been, going to zero against the real deal. So I'm not bullish on Bitcoin Gold whatsoever, but if anyone else is, let me know why you are. I just look at the charts, and everything's going to zero against the apex predator, including the forks. I'd rather have Michael Saylor buying Bitcoin than BlackRock. Amen, Ashley. I feel the same way, but we already know BlackRock is going to come in and swoop, purchase all the Bitcoin available in the open market. That's a given. Yeah, I have some MSTRs still down like 40%. Bought it during the last rally. Oh, okay. So did you buy it back in 2021 at the height? It's up 240% on the year, but then again, it is what it is. Atanas, appreciate you subscribing to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Thank you, my fam. Much love. All of you guys planning to sell your Bitcoin at whatever price will be selling to institutional investors that won't sell. The 80% price drawdown is coming to an end. So good luck. And you make a good point. Once BlackRock and these major institutions get a hold of this Bitcoin, they're never departing with it. This is a lifetime hodl. The same with MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor. Shout out to Orange Dude. I appreciate you subscribing as well to the channel. Thank you, Verena. Love your dog who just passed by. Shout out to Nipsey. He's the official mascot of the show. Better Saylor than BlackRock. Barry seconds that sentiment. Good stuff, fam. Yeah, when it was, oh, wow, $700 to $950, for Christ's sake. That's wild. Yeah, so now there's less available thanks to Michael Saylor. That is right. 100%. Saylor will never be satisfied. Pun intended. The rat poison is tasting pretty good. Well, apparently Bitcoin wasn't the rat poison. Apparently it was fiat. We're referring to Charlie Munger, who passed a few days ago at age 99. Also, just the other day, Henry Kissinger passed at age 100. Like, whoa, leave some stats for the rest of us plebs. That's right. Leave some for us, fam. Anyways, now let's dive into our next story of the day. We just shared the latest with MicroStrategy doing another massive buy for 16,000 BTC added to their balance sheet. Now let's discuss the latest with GBTC, who is the largest hodler of Bitcoin in the world. With 620,000 plus BTC on their balance sheet. If you don't know, that's the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So let's break down their latest as they initiate significant amendments to their trust agreement. The world's largest crypto asset management company, Grayscale, recently made a few significant adjustments to the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust agreement for the first time in 5 years, signaling a strategic shift. And a quick shout out to Mr. Rusty Beatcran. I appreciate the super chat and thank you for sending your first super chat ever. He wrote, was a Ishcoin bull until you converted me, fam. Now so close to my goal of making my 2-year-old daughter a whole coiner by the end of the year, and just found out my wife's pregnant again. Time to get back grinding. Well, massive congratulations on that front. Massive congrats for your daughter becoming 2 years old and also becoming a whole coiner. That is massive and good to hear you're all in now on Bitcoin, and congratulations on the new child on the way. Massive, massive congrats all the way around. Let's freaking go. I appreciate your kindness. Much love. Now, on Wednesday, November 29th, Grayscale submitted a consent solicitation statement in an effort to amend the trust agreement governing the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust with the assets of the shareholders. Quoting the Grayscale spokesperson here, today Grayscale has outlined proposed amendments for GBTC's trust agreement that are intended to provide operational efficiencies that we believe are beneficial to both Grayscale and GBTC. Importantly, this is our normal course of business, and GBTC remains ready to uplist as a spot Bitcoin ETF to the NYSE ARCA upon appropriate regulatory approvals. Now, the aim is to enhance the GBTC framework in preparation for a potential turn to a spot Bitcoin ETF, which they're looking to convert their product into a spot. And as a result of this, it will ensure equitable competition with other competitors, possibly including BlackRock, the world's largest asset management firm, which is a well-known asset manager. Now, according to the Wednesday filing, the two main adjustments were made in the agreement. These include a change in the collection of fees and consolidation of assets into an all-inclusive account structure. Now, the first proposal would allow the fund fees to be paid on a monthly basis to a daily basis. This shift is a structural improvement rather than a charge reduction, as Grayscale had affirmed. It will not change the fee amount, but just the payment frequency. Quoting the filing here, with the changes we are seeking, the sponsor's fee would be payable daily in arrears, as the sponsor will maintain the discretion and to instruct the custodian to withdraw Bitcoin from the Bitcoin account equal to the accrued but unpaid sponsor fee. Now, currently the firm charges a 2% management fee on GBTC. Meanwhile, companies waiting for approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF typically charge between 0.7 and 1% in fees. And breaking down the math from a previous interview with Michael Saylor, just 1% fees on an ETF could mean ultimately paying 20% of the lifetime of your investment over the long haul, like talking about 20, 30 years. So 2%, that could potentially add up to a lot, 30, 40% of your investment. So keep that in mind. The second proposal will make it possible for some trust assets to be retained in omnibus accounts in the short term. This would enable more effective share creation as well as redemption, as is an important function for the operation of the Bitcoin ETF. Now let's discuss shareholders to vote for the approval of these proposals. Now, Grayscale decided that the stockholders will have to vote in favor of both propositions. While not necessary, the adjustments can result in improved operational efficiency and a possible conversion of the GBTC into a spot Bitcoin ETF. Now, in order to execute the suggested proposal, the company will not impose any extra expenses on its shareholders. The shareholders have been given 20 days to cast their votes in relation to the suggested proposals. Quoting the filing again, GBTC GBTC shareholders will not pay any additional fees as a result of the proposed amendments. The board of directors of Grayscale Investments, LLC, recommends you vote for the two proposals according to the filing. So there you have it, my crypto fam. And do you guys feel that GBTC's product, their trust, will likely be converted into a spot Bitcoin ETF? Please do let me know. 2300 Barry says relaxing, referring to Barry Silbert there, or are you referring to Barry BT? Oh, how many Bitcoin has El Salvador now? There you go. So referring to El Salvador, that's what's up. 2300 BTC, not too shabby. Having a heavy lunch today. Arroz con, oh word. Enjoy your lunch, Crypto Surge. Sounds good. Punchy coffee, you make a good point. I don't know how much work either. Punchy ass, I can't wait till it hits a couple of mil. I want to see how they structure a loan using your Bitcoin as collateral. Never have to sell your coin. That's right, fam. Now you got another whole coin to accumulate for your new baby. Massive congratulations. That's what's up. Is music to my ears. Good stuff. Good morning. Happy to see everyone rise and shine. Have a good day. You as well, Crypto Surge. Much love, much respect. Appreciate the smash likes as well. In the future, when we click buy, there will be a message saying, sorry, your trade could not be executed. Try again later, says Unmatrix. Word up, fam. Let's dive into our next story of the day and discuss the ETF race. Let's go. We know another major deadline is coming up in roughly 45 days, January 10th. I think there's a deadline January 3rd. If we don't get the approval by January, then March is the next likely deadline. But the ETF experts are giving it a 90% chance that we get this ETF approval sooner than later. But let's break this down. We also have Swiss asset manager Pando Asset becoming an unexpected late entrant into the spot Bitcoin ETF race in the United States. On the same day, investment giant BlackRock met with the country's security regulator to pitch the updated ETF model based on the agency's feedback. On November 29th, Pando submitted a Form S-1 to the US SEC used to register the securities with the agency for the Pando Asset Spot Bitcoin Trust. And like other ETF bids, the trust aims to track the Bitcoin price with the custody arm of the crypto exchange Coinbase to hold Bitcoin on behalf of the trust. So there we have it, Coinbase, a custodian for another asset manager. Pando makes it the 13th applicant for an approved spot Bitcoin ETF in the United States, joining the race with a dozen others, including BlackRock, ARK Invest, and Grayscale. Now in a November 29th post, Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Balchunas said he has more questions than answers about Pando's filing, questioning why this has come in so late. Quoting him here, we have a late entrant into the spot Bitcoin ETF race. Pando, who already offers crypto ETPs over in Europe. More questions than answers. Where have they been for the last 3 months? Why bother at this point? If they make January 10th crew, what does that say about fair play and even society as we know it? And what exactly is a Pando? Good questions. Balchunas has also raised concerns about the implications should Pando's ETF be amongst the Bitcoin ETF filings he predicts will be approved by January 10th. We also have Eric Balchunas, fellow ETF analyst, to James Seyfarth, saying they have put their money on January 10th as the day that all the spot Bitcoin ETFs would be approved at once, as it is the deadline for the SEC to deny or approve ARK's Invest application. However, Seyfarth told his followers that he doubts Pando's ETF is ready to go on the first day with others, but crazier things have happened, I guess. Now let's discuss BlackRock meeting with the SEC to discuss their ETF bid. The SEC met with BlackRock and Invesco executives November 28th to discuss their ETF bids, according to the agency documents. They also met with the SEC November 20th, I heard, along with Grayscale. Now, BlackRock pitched a revision to its redemption model to address the SEC concerns from the earlier meeting on the balance sheet impacts and risk to U.S. broker-dealers dealing with the offshore crypto entities. Balchunas explained the revision sees the offshore entity getting Bitcoin from Coinbase and prepaying the U.S. registered broker-dealer in cash, which cannot directly handle BTC, as he outlines here on X. Looks like BlackRock met with the SEC and Trading and Markets Division again yesterday and presented them with a revised in-kind model design based on staff's comments at their November 20th meeting. He also says here's the original versus the revised in-kind model. Look like the new thing is step 4, which is the offshore entity, market maker, getting Bitcoin from Coinbase and then prepaying in cash to the US registered broker dealer who is not allowed to touch BTC, which he explained in the November 17th post that the broker-dealers can't deal in Bitcoin and that the SEC was asking the ETFs to have redemption models that puts the onus on issuers to transact in Bitcoin, keeping the broker-dealers from having to use unregistered subsidiaries or third-party firms to deal with the Bitcoin. So there you have it. My crypto fam, what are your thoughts surrounding the ETF race and where do you feel regarding the 13th entrant? Do you think it will likely be approved with a dozen others on the desk of the chairman of the SEC, Gary Gensler, right now? And do you feel we'll likely get that green light in January, or the inevitable will occur and it'll be pushed back yet again? Let me know your honest thoughts. Silas says MSTR had like 160,000 Bitcoin. Now they have over 170,000, my fam. They continue stacking like there's no tomorrow. That's a fact. No reason Grayscale should not be allowed to be the ETF they have always wanted to be, but I still prefer MicroStrategy. Eric says, just found out there is a monthly Bitcoin meeting at a local brewery in town. Too bad it's during work hours. My manager is going to be hell of upset. I call in sick every third Thursday of the month. Oh, word up. And where do you live, Eric? Let us know. Giving Christmas Bitcoin gift to my kids. That's the most excellent Bitcoin present one can give, and it makes for an excellent stocking stuffer. Get a cold storage wallet, put some Bitcoin in it, and Merry Christmas. Let's go. JV, your poll opens, but no data or question. It seems to glitch for certain people. I don't know why that is, Mega Don, so just ignore it if it's glitching for you. But for most people, they can see the poll because we do get a lot of people casting their votes. Like right now, there's 123 people voted. There is a live poll right now for those that don't know in the live chat, and it asks Bitcoin December peak price. Where do you feel we'll peak at for the following month? Let me know, fam. And that's basically going to be the annual price as well for where we end the year. JV does not speak Spanish. Fine Puerto Rican. Yes, I mean, I don't speak Spanish and I know it's sad, but hey, give me a break. Did you just say the death of the chairman? I didn't say that, fam. I don't know if someone else said that in the chat. There was about 25,000 Bitcoin withdrawn from the exchanges over the last 10 days. Now we know where most of it went. Yeah, maybe that massive whale we've been tracking was Michael Saylor for all we know. Or it could even be a BlackRock or another massive institution. We don't know. Wow, another 600 million Bitcoin for Michael Saylor. That's right, Serge. They getting it. Eric says, I live in Bakersfield, Cali. They call it the armpit of California. And also the brewery accepts Bitcoin as a form of payment. That's pretty lit. Enjoy it. Pretty stoked to check it out. Let us know how it is. Megadon's predicting 45,000 for the end of December. Word up. That's a good target. I think we're likely to head on up. Personally, I think we could potentially hit 50. That'd be a pretty bullish target. People are very conservative in their December estimates. Not saying that is bad. And historically, we see a lot of pumps during the end of the year. I remember in 2017, that's when Bitcoin pumped all the way up to like almost 20,000. It was around Christmas time. I'll never forget it. That was my first year in crypto. It was so lit. How many of you were around back then? Let me know. JV, you get a break in about an hour. Thank you, Silas. How did you make it to Colombia without Spanish? Or how did I make it in Colombia? I've lived all over the world. I lived in China, and I don't really speak Mandarin. I was learning Mandarin, but hey, it was difficult because they use pinyin characters, and you look at the menu at the restaurant, and it's all just Chinese characters. So it was virtually impossible for me to order food. So I had to learn certain things like no meat and stuff and eat at the Muslim places because I've been vegetarian since age 16 and they love their meat in China. But I got by just fine living in El Poblado, Medellin, Colombia for 6 months without knowing Spanish. And I've been living now in Puerto Rico for 5 years, and I've also lived in Costa Rica for a few years. And again, I don't really speak much Spanish, just very basic phrases, but I get by. If I need to speak it, we just use Google Translate, and it does the job. We figure it out one way or the other. So no excuse. You can live abroad. You don't need to speak the language. What up, G-Rob? I appreciate it, fam. Love and appreciate you. Much love. Appreciate that super chat. Respect. Mandarin is a beast. That's right. Mandarin, and also there's Cantonese. Like in Hong Kong, they don't speak Mandarin, they speak Cantonese. I know a little bit of Cantonese because I studied Kung Fu, and in Kung Fu class, they would speak a little bit of Cantonese. So pretty cool. Yeah, so did you sell caps from your channel? Well, we do have a merch store. I believe it's merch.cryptonewsalerts.net. You can find some caps, Bitcoin related caps and merch. So be sure to check it out. Maybe you'll find something that you like. Get yourself a wife that speaks Spanish like me, says Megadon. Word. Well, no comment. Is Puerto Rico the move then, JV, or El Salvador? What are your thoughts? Honestly speaking, I think El Salvador is clearly the Bitcoin capital of the world. First country to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. However, I have a baby mama and a 9-year-old in Puerto Rico, so I can't just get up and relocate to another country, unfortunately. But at the top of my list, if I had that free reign to do so, I would highly consider relocating to El Salvador. But of course, you got to visit first. I haven't even been there yet, so looking forward to visiting, as I've lived in Central America already for a few years, and I think it's a beautiful place to be. Personally, I like Latin America, Central America, South America, so many beautiful places to be. So it's pretty cool. Lived in Turkey, no problem, says James Obleton. Oh, word up. How long were you in Turkey for? And Bitcoin's pumping once again. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Yes, I wanted to ask, can Bitcoin run up to 1 million with how high its fees are? Absolutely. I think the fees are irrelevant. The price can run up. I mean, previous cycle, price ran up, fees were irrelevant. Look at even Ethereum hit a high of over $4,000 and their fees are still outrageous. So anything is possible. You know what I mean? Baby mama? Yes, I just said that. JV seems like he is done with wives. Girl, yeah. You can speak for me. I'm not planning on getting married anytime soon. Let's just keep it at that. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I'm in the military, says James. Oh, okay. So you got to travel in the military. That's pretty cool, fam. But anyways, let's dive into our next story of the day. We still got a lot to cover. Here, speaking of mass Bitcoin adoption, we have a country by the name of Suriname. I'm not even familiar with this country, but I saw the news and this is breaking, so I'm going to share this with you. You can check it out here. We got Jan 3's Samson Mow basically orange pilling the country right here. They're looking for a strategic reserve strategy of allocating 1% into Bitcoin. Now, Suriname, I looked up the geographics. It is located just above Brazil, and if I'm not mistaken, their population is over 625,000 people. The Brazil population is over 200 million people, and the Colombia population is over 50 million people. And so this is a pretty big deal. And speaking of that population, you can see here, Samson Mow recently met with the Colombia president to discuss adopting Bitcoin. So there you have it, just between Colombia and Brazil and this other country I'm pointing out right here, that's a population of over 300 million people collectively. Let's go. So Argentina, Guatemala, Mexico, Colombia, or Suriname, which country will be next to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender? Maybe the latest entry, Suriname, and a move that can position the small South American country at the forefront of the global movement. The South American nation is contemplating the adoption of Bitcoin as a significant part of its national economic strategy. Let's go. This development follows a series of high-profile meetings between Suriname's president, Chan Santoki, and representative from Jan 3, who is Samson Mow, who is widely recognized for its role in promoting Bitcoin adoption at the national level globally, including in El Salvador. The move could position Suriname as a trailblazer in Bitcoin adoption amongst nations. Let's go. During the meeting with the president, Samson Mow and Ben Van Hool emphasized Bitcoin's transformative potential for Suriname's economy. Quoting him here, "We were honored to meet with the president, Chan Santoki, to discuss the possibility of Suriname advancing on its own Bitcoin strategy. They emphasized the transformative potential of Bitcoin Bitcoin, particularly in the energy sector. They also extended beyond that, as highlighted by the statement from Jan 3. Bitcoin could transform Suriname's economy. The government of Suriname and Jan 3 are exploring ways to boost Bitcoin's usage. They're even considering converting 1% of their central bank's reserves into Bitcoin. Let's go. This could be a potential safeguard against inflation and a new economic boost. That's right. Now, what if they were to convert 10% of their central bank reserves into Bitcoin? You already know, fam. And according to world data, Suriname's gross domestic product amounted to $3.6 billion for the entire nation, placing the country at the 171st in the global economic rankings. And in addition, Suriname recorded a considerable inflation rate of 52% last year in 2022. Sounds like they need Bitcoin. Now, international reserves, including gold, were reported at 1,194 million US dollars for the past year. And expressing optimism about the future collaboration, we got Ban Van Hoel, who shared a personal insight. Heading home now, but my gut feeling says I'll be back here soon. This sentiment indicates the positive trajectory of the discussions of the potential for rapid development in Suriname's Bitcoin adoption. Now, Andrew Howard, the chief business officer of Jan 3, elaborated on the unique opportunities that smaller countries like Suriname have in embracing Bitcoin. How many of you have actually heard of Suriname before this? That's actually a great question. Let me know in that chat, as I have never even heard of the country until this story just came out. Probably not many. That's the interesting thing about Bitcoin adoption and policy. A country with 600,000 is much more open and receptive to speaking with Jan 3 about Bitcoin policy compared to a country with 330 million, for example, the United States. Now, Howard further drew parallels with El Salvador, the first country to embrace Bitcoin as the legal tender. He noted, like El Salvador, Suriname will benefit from embracing the native currency of the internet rather than driving out innovation and companies from their jurisdiction. Bitcoin can turn third world countries into first world countries. Preach. The local news report from Suriname provided additional insight into the potential impact of Bitcoin on the nation's economy. During the press conference held by Jan 3 execs, the company's CEO Samson Mow stressed the importance of working with the government to fully harness the benefits of Bitcoin. Mow pointed out the numerous advantages that a decentralized digital currency can bring to the Surinamese economy and its entrepreneurs. Even the Surinamese TV station reported on Jan 3's visit and the possible adoption of a national Bitcoin strategy. That's what's up. This was officially reported on their local news. So this is real talks. Just imagine them adopting Bitcoin as legal tender. They're neighbors of Brazil. Brazil has a massive population, probably as big or not larger than the United States. So you already know how massively bullish this is for Bitcoin adoption around the world. So what are your thoughts, fam? Let me read these out. It's a Dutch colony, Suriname. Oh, good to know, Barry. I didn't know that. It's about to be based. Let's go. And am I pronouncing it right? Because before the show, I did pronounce.com and I typed in Suriname because I had no clue. I would have said Suriname, but they said Suriname. So hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Let me know. They need an orange pill. Peru. That's right. Send it. Brian, welcome. Watch B. Clinton show up now in Suriname and try to talk them out of it. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised, right? Why so early, Dirty? Well, we got to switch it up. I got to pick up my daughter from school, so it depends upon my schedule, the time I go live. Today and tomorrow, we had to go live extra early, 11 a.m. Eastern, but tomorrow, we'll be back at the normal time, not tomorrow, but Saturday, we'll be back to the normal time at 3 p.m. Eastern, and Sunday will be the normal time as well, just FYI. Yes, let's go. They speak Dutch. Good to note. I didn't know that, Tom. That's pretty cool. Countries in trouble can do a USD Bitcoin hybrid model. Holding a lot of Bitcoin that will appreciate could really benefit them. Preach, Silas. Met a girl from there in Indonesia. Oh, word. James Olbertson. Good to note. Word up. Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty awesome. They have Brazilian people, 100%. Alistair Darling, the British Chancellor, named Satoshi's Genesis block, has died today. Oh, snap. For real? That's 3 of the old guard in 3 days. Bullish omen for Bitcoin. Oh, wow. So the British Chancellor was named on the Satoshi Genesis block. I didn't know that. A lot of them are passing like flies. It's insane. It feels like another one's biting the dust every day. Thanks for the news, Jonathan. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Yeah, which countries do you think are likely to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender next? I say the big candidates clearly could be Mexico Argentina. We have Javier Milei, but he was just meeting up with Bill Clinton, so who knows what these two are really up to. Is there a UFC fighter from Suriname? Is Rosenstrike from there? I didn't know that. If so, that's pretty awesome, Alan Haley. Good to share that. Wow, looks like Suriname has some nice coastline too. Yeah, let's go. We appreciate you adjusting your schedule and still pulling through with the content, big dog. My pleasure. I mean, I've been doing this damn show now for 5-6 years. I've had this channel on YouTube, and you know, the cool thing about working from home and doing a podcast, you can design it around your lifestyle, but that's the reason why the schedule changes and it can't always be the same time. But I think it's a gift and a curse. The gift part of it is we get to touch a broader perspective of people from all over the world, because some people can't tune in because maybe it's the time they'd be sleeping, but because I'm going early, it will give them an opportunity, and vice versa when we switch the time. So I look at it as a win-win. And of course, you guys can watch the replay at any time. So if you can't make a live, it's all good. Just catch the replay. What up, P-Yow? Welcome. Where you from, fam? Let me know, as you have a very interesting username. So yeah, we're talking about mass Bitcoin adoption right now. How long has it been that you transition over to do the live videos? Wow, it's been quite a while. Maybe I'm going to guesstimate. We started doing the lives about a year ago. Prior to that, it was always pre-recorded and edited, but I feel the vibes, I like it a lot better for the live because I can interact with the chat, and I don't need to edit. Editing was the most time-consuming element of the previous way I used to do the show. I'd recording would still take me an hour, however long, then hours worth of editing, cutting out all the wasted space and it was just too much. I just like keeping it real, doing a live, we streaming, saves a lot of time, and it looks like you guys prefer it much more as well. So I'm gonna give you guys what you want. Then in the evenings, what I've been doing is editing the live version of the show, removing all the Q&A, because the Q&A takes maybe 60% of the show up, right? And then just compiling content only for the edited version, which we premiere in the evenings. Typically, we've been premiering at 9 p.m. Eastern each and every day. So there's two lives going on. There's the real live where we're interacting with the Q&A like we are right now. Then there's the evening edited version, which is the premiere, content only. So you guys that just want the content, don't care about the interaction, kind of get the best of both worlds. So that's kind of the schedule of what I've been doing. I like it live, says Jeff Rhodes. I appreciate it. Love the live, says Alice. Good to hear. Thank you for your content. Regards from Switzerland. Shout out Switzerland. Haven't been there in a few years. Beautiful place. The mountains are so serene. I remember taking the trains out there. Had a blast. Bill Clinton heard Bitcoin was 13 years old, so he was very interested. Oh, yeah, that might be comment of the day right there. Los Angeles, California in the building. Shout out P-Yow, appreciate that. Go Doge, it's pumping, says Novum. Oh, word up. Smash the likes, fam. Appreciate that reminder, Matthew J. But now let's dive into our breaking story of the day. Samson Mow expects the Bitcoin price to hit $1 million per coin. He says that can happen as soon as days or weeks after the approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs. So let's break this down along with his most latest tweets. As I mentioned earlier, he's making big moves. Not only Bitcoin adoption in this other country we mentioned here by the name of Suriname, as he's orange pilling their presidents, but also he's making big moves. Colombia. Let's go. Colombia has a population of over 50 million people. Suriname has a population of over 600,000 people and is also the neighboring country to Brazil, which has a massive population of over 200 million people. So let's freaking go. Which country do you feel will likely adopt Bitcoin next as a legal tender? Let me know in the live chat. He also recently tweeted, "We will see a seismic shift to Bitcoin and sound money. The next 5 years will be incredible. Guatemala, 2023. Argentina, 2023. The Bitcoin halving scheduled to take place in April of next year. El Salvador, we've already adopted Bitcoin here as a legal tender. Panama, 2024. Mexico, 2024. Shout out Ricardo Salinas. Canada in 2025, but it could be 2023 or 2024. Peru, 2026. And Nicaragua, 2026. Fix the money, fix the world. Preach. He also shared here, it has come to my attention, there are some Bitcoiners that don't think Bitcoin can reach $1 million per coin in a matter of days or weeks after the ETF money starts to flow in. They are in for a pleasant surprise. And then you can see the comments are hilarious. You should change your name to Samson Moon now. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he has some other really good tweets here. Reminder, the ETF approvals will unlock a tidal wave of capital influx into Bitcoin. Pair that with the multiplier effect, and you do get to $1 million per Bitcoin. Now, I also want to share a throwback. This was recently 8 days ago, he shared that tweet. And then he reminded us that he shared a tweet December 3rd of 2021, the previous bull cycle. Approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF would send Bitcoin to $1 million per coin over a few days. Gary Gensler and the SEC don't want to be the ones responsible for sending Bitcoin to the moon. Again, this was years ago he shared this, and it holds true even to today. And he was responding to Tom Emmer's tweet, the congressman who shared on December 3rd. Gary Gensler, I am still waiting on your response to our November 3rd letter, asking you to make sense of why Bitcoin future ETFs are allowed to trade, but not Bitcoin spot ETFs. So this is nothing new. Gary has been playing this game with us now for years. He is the only man standing in the way preventing us from the spot Bitcoin ETF with currently 13 applications on his desk. So let's break down this $1 million price prediction from Samson Mow, shall we? Here you go. And let's start it right here. He wrote this just recently, November 24th on Twitter. If you think I'm crazy for a $1 million Bitcoin, please meet Hal. He's referring to Hal Finney, who is responsible for the very first Bitcoin transaction, and some believe him to be Satoshi. Quoting Hal Finney here, as an amusing thought experiment, imagine that Bitcoin is successful, it becomes the dominant payment system in use throughout the world. Then the total value of the currency should be equal to the total value of all the wealth in the world. Current estimates of the total worldwide household wealth that I have found range from 100 trillion to $300 trillion. And with 20 million coins, that gives us each a value of about $10 million per Bitcoin. So the possibility of generating coins today with a few cents of computational power and time may be quite a good bet, with the payoff of something like 100 million to 1. Even if the odds of Bitcoin succeeding to this degree are slim, are they really 100 million to 1 against? Something to think about. So there you have it. Hal Finney was calling for a $10 million Bitcoin price before the inception of Bitcoin. How lit is that? Now, Mao stated that those who believe 1 million per Bitcoin is a crazy price should read what Hal Finney wrote and what I just shared with you out loud. Many firmly believe that it was Finney who had hidden behind the synonym of Satoshi Nakamoto, going under the radar since 2010, leaving his invention in the hands of the community. Then Finney passed away in 2014 from consequences of lateral sclerosis, if I'm pronouncing that right. In the message cited by Mao, Finney assumes that if in the future Bitcoin becomes a dominant payment system in the world, the price of one coin can soar to $10 million per coin. And speaking of some math, here's a Bitcoin expert unveiling the math behind the Bitcoin price prediction. Let's break this one down for you. I believe this is right here. Further elaborating his prediction, Mao referenced Bitcoin's historical growth. In 2017, it took 9 months for Bitcoin to go from $1,000 to $20,000. The block subsidy was 12.5. There was a lot more Bitcoin sloshing around on the exchanges. Mining was boiling the oceans, and there was zero institutional money. That's right, there was no institutional adoption or no hype from institutions back then. And Bitcoin went from 1,000 to 20,000, which is 20x. So next we go from 50,000 to 1 million. That's just another 20x. Nothing we haven't done before. And considering we've already hit 69,000 as the all-time high, keep that in mind. Now, let me know your thoughts surrounding some of this math. And I'm gonna actually break down our next segment right here, where Samson Mow says the SEC will approve all the Bitcoin ETFs like all in one shot. He was recently interviewed and asked some good questions. I'm just going to read some of the questions and answers for you here. Do you think Kennedy, referring to RFK Jr., has a chance to win the election? He said, I would say so. And as you know, he is a pro-Bitcoin candidate. He says, independent candidates have never won, but I think Bobby's defection from the Democratic Party and the fact he has tapped into the zeitgeist, he has really captured the imagination of the people that are frustrated with the two-party system, where nothing seems to ever change. Let me know if you agree or disagree, and who will you be voting for president in 2024? Let me know. Next question, do you think the public debate puts pressure on the SEC regarding the approval of the pending spot ETFs? He says, I think the SEC has already enough pressure from Congress and from BlackRock. One thing that people don't really understand is that it's not Larry Fink and BlackRock that want the ETF, it's their institutional clients that want it. Their customers are putting pressure on them to get it. And there, he makes a good point. Next question, the growing relevance of Bitcoin in the US is also demonstrated by the hash rate. Significant shares are in the hands of large publicly traded and therefore extensively regulated mining farms and mining pools. Could this be a risk? Well, I don't think it's ideal. It'd be better if the hash rate was more decentralized. And note, yesterday I shared breaking news, Jack Dorsey working on a decentralized Bitcoin miner. It would be better if the US only had a 20-25% portion of the hash rate. Right now they're getting 40%. Sometimes the US, while it's governed by a stronger rule of law, might represent a danger simply because they want compliance with the existing financial system. Now he asked, could this be a risk to Bitcoin's fungibility? I don't think so, he said. I think there is a censorship risk that they'll try to block transactions, but ultimately, if they try to do that, they'll limit their own profitability because they'll need to go to a blacklist and check that before processing any transaction, and other pools in other countries will have the advantage. Now, next up, he was asked, the goal of your company, Jan 3, is to promote Bitcoin adoption at the state level. Do you see potential in Africa, especially on the mining side? Here's what he shared. There is potential in decentralizing the hash rate and getting more into Africa, but the challenge is Africa, there is just not that much power to begin with. So you might incentivize creation of new power generation sites, like maybe small hydro dams, but it's never going to compete at the same scope as the mega infrastructure projects in the United States, the ones starting to emerge in Latin America and possibly other places. So Africa might end up building a significant chunk of the hash rate by creating new power sources. The challenge is their new power sources. They're not tapping into excess existing energy. So I guess there's lack of volcanoes out there, fam. Now when asked, what is the most promising country in the future in terms of Bitcoin adoption? And here's what he shared. I think there are a few. Panama, let's go. He says it's interesting. They don't have a central bank, so they can do something relatively quick. There is one candidate we have connections to, and if he wins the elections, then we can talk about Bitcoin. And I said Indonesia is also interesting. Again, a massive population in Indonesia, fam. Ridwan Kamil is the governor of West Java, and I think he'll be running for vice president. He understands Bitcoin. He understands the potential for mining to transform the country. So that's another big interesting place for us to look at. And I think Argentina is also one because Javier Milei. I think there will be changes afoot, large-scale changes, and we have to direct that change towards Bitcoin. I think he is going to dollarize, but we want him to dollarize and Bitcoinize. So there you have it. My crypto fam, which countries do you feel likely will adopt Bitcoin next as the legal tender? And do you feel realistically that Bitcoin has the potential to reach $1 million per coin as soon as days or weeks after the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF? And when those trillions start ushering in into the King Crypto, please let me know. And let's now do our live Q&A. Welcome everyone just joining us. I am tired with the woke business. It's making people unhappy, resentful and obese. We need political change, says Silas. Well, I think that's a part of the problem. We think the politicians are going to save us. No one is going to save us except ourselves. You know what I mean? So depending upon any politician to fix everything wrong, I think is setting yourself up for failure. That's just my perspective. I don't think politics solves anything. I don't think it matters Democrat or Republican because it's the same tree, just different branches with the same evil controlling everything. You know what I mean? Just puppeteers on a string being led. In my humble opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks from Germany. You're very welcome, HJ Soeth. I appreciate you tuning in. From 5,920 of the Bitcoin halving to 11,10,2021 top, ETH made 2,200% gains, Bitcoin 623%. Hang on to your ETH, shares Stephen Hubbs. Thank you for sharing the insights. Not days or weeks, but in the 18 months following the mass approvals of the ETFs, says Silas. Have you ever pondered 1 million Bitcoin would mean 1 cent per Satoshi? Does that math check out? We know there is 100 million Satoshis in a single Bitcoin. My brain can't wrap around Bitcoin going to 1 million so rapidly, although I wouldn't complain. Yeah, I think the point is it can happen, right? I don't think there's a strong probability, like 90% chance, but hey, even if there's a 10% probability, we need to entertain that idea just so we can be prepared. You know what I mean? So anything's possible. Unmatrix says Model T. Let's go. Let's send it. Yes, Jeff, don't worry. It won't be in days, maybe in the year 2029. Well, let me give you a scenario. I guess if the dollar hyperinflated, then it can happen very realistically. But will the dollar hyperinflate before the approval of the ETF? Probably not. But again, anything's possible. So we need to exercise the probabilities. $1 equals 1 Satoshi. That sounds even better, Zero. Let's go. I don't think that matters. Can't buy anything for 1 cent anymore. $1 is the cheapest thing. I could see 100 million per Bitcoin. Let's go. What's good, fam? Welcome, Mustache, to today's live. Appreciate you tuning in. It was good seeing you last night on our premiere. What it do? Politicians are the enemies. That's right. Because politicians aren't going to change nothing. Even if they genuinely wanted to and they had a good heart, they can't change anything. The only outlier I can think of is Bukele. He's like 1 in a billion. You know what I mean? All the other world leaders, they don't care about you. They care about themselves and aligning their pockets. That's just fact. If the $1 million thing happens that soon, my head would explode. Cleanup would be needed. Yeah, I think all of our minds would be blown for sure. Yes, JV, we must change society ourselves, but politicians allocate the money. They have been allocating a lot to find jobs and grievance politics. This is out in schools, universities, and employers. You make a good point there. We must demand what we want, and only then can we expect for them to give us what we want. Just like the clients of BlackRock demanding we need spot Bitcoin ETF. We want to invest into Bitcoin. If you don't give this to us, we're going to invest elsewhere. That kind of puts the pressure, the ball in their court. They got to make a move accordingly and give the people what they want. You know what I mean? So we need to be like chanting to the SEC and Gary Gensler, spot ETF, spot ETF, F futures, spot ETF. And maybe they'll do something about it. Who knows? Yeah, I was talking a lot about how there are only 1.1 million Bitcoin on the exchanges, according to the sentiment. There are now more than 50 million millionaires per Bitcoin on the exchanges right now. Oh, more than 50. I see what you mean. Because everyone holding that Bitcoin is going to become a millionaire, 100%. What up, guys? What up? What up? Bukele is Palestinian. Send him back to fix that mess. Is he Palestinian? Is he mixed? I assumed he was Salvadoran. Satoshi is the anonymous creator. That's right. If you're getting value, smash the like. Appreciate it, fam. Bitcoin will certainly get to 1 million or more at some point. That's why I'm buying it now. Bitcoin is the future. Amen. Frenzo, where my dog's at? Shout out Andy. Good to see you. My nerd brain likes playing with numbers. Oh, good. That's a good thing. Yeah, so if the $1 million thing happens soon, yeah, I mean, it might. You never know. It's going to happen. I mean, people will realistically start, once Bitcoin hits 100,000 and it's only another 10x to hit 1 million, that's when people are going to be like, whoa, 1 million is happening. Right now, you guys can see it. You understand Bitcoin, you watch the podcast, but the average Joe, it's a pipe dream. Like, they're just like, no way possible. But I'm telling you, once we hit a new all-time high, it's going to be everyone talking about Bitcoin hitting $1 million. That's going to be the next major target once we hit 6 figures. And we can 10x like that. You know what I mean? We 10x plenty of times in Bitcoin. I think the numbers is like from 0 to 69,000. Is that like a 69 million% increase, making Bitcoin the most appreciative asset in human history? And we're just getting started. Bitcoin can still do another 100x from here. Like, realistically, not saying overnight, not saying this bull cycle, but over the long haul, we got another 100x in us. I feel it. No, JV, there are 50 millionaires per Bitcoin on the exchanges. 60 million millionaires divided by, this looks like breaking down the math for me. Divided by 1.1 million. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, so 50 millionaires per Bitcoin on the exchanges. 60 million millionaires divided by 1.1 million Bitcoin on the exchanges. Thank you for the math. How do I get paid in Bitcoin? Is Strike reliable? Yes, all you gotta do is download the app. Go to the App Store, download Strike. It's available in hundreds of countries around the world, and you can set it up, and you should be able to do so. My best percentage increase was almost 100% in one day in 2021. I can't remember which ish coin, but it's possible. Yes. I mean, some ish coins went up thousands, I mean, tens of thousands % like that. It's insane. And we know a rise in tide rises all ships. So the alt market will be lit. Typically following the surge of Bitcoin for this bull run. Silas says Bukele's parental grandparents were Palestinian Christians from Jerusalem and Bethlehem. This was a maternal grandmother was Catholic and the maternal grandmother was Greek Orthodox from Wikipedia. Good to note. I didn't know any of that. Longtime hodler here. I would like to see the numbers around what kind of demand BlackRock and Fidelity are getting from the investors. Do we have reliable polling numbers we can see on that? I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I can run a poll, but obviously my audience is limited. We may get 100 to 300 votes here on a show. Today, we got 242 votes, it looks like right now. But anyways, fam, I got to get running here shortly, pick up my daughter from school. So what we're going to do, if you're enjoying today's show and getting value out of it, come join us on Rumble because we're streaming simultaneous right now on YouTube and Rumble. And as soon as this YouTube stream ends, we're going to continue for like another 20 minutes on Rumble with the uncensored version of Crypto News Alerts because I can speak freely. We're also going to be doing a JV React session. I highly and strongly encourage you to join us over there. If I don't see you there, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on YouTube. Same bit time, same bit channel. We'll be going live extra early again at 11 a.m. Eastern. But go ahead, head on over to Rumble right now, and let's continue with the uncensored version of Crypto News Alerts. Deuces, YouTube, I am out.